On day 7 and day 8 of the 2025 NCAA tournament, the Elite 8 took place, and today in this video we are covering all 4 games from these 2 past days. Very briefly, I do want to say that I, as much as anybody, love upsets, and that's what I'm wishing for more than anything in the first weekend of March Madness. However, the benefit about this year, with there not being too many upsets, although, like I said, I want more of them, is that in these Elite 8, these teams are in the top 9 in efficiency in the country, with only Gonzaga being ahead of Texas Tech. These are the best teams in the country, and it's probably the most stacked Elite 8 we have had in a very long time. So without further ado, let's get into the first game of the night that took place yesterday on Saturday between number 1 seed Florida versus the 3rd seeded Texas Tech Red Raiders. I'll be honest, I love both of these teams. Grant McCasland for Texas Tech has them in the Elite 8 in just his 2nd year with the program, coming from North Texas. And then Todd Golden is in his 3rd season at Florida. He has turned this program around as well. Chance McMillan, the 3rd leading scorer for Texas Tech, is finally playing in his first game of the NCAA tournament. And if you listen to Grant McCasland at the end of the game in the post-game press conferences, Chance playing in this game was putting his body on the line for his team. The entire first half is pretty high scoring, back and forth, and Florida is up 40-37 at the break. But in the second half, Texas Tech starts to take over. This alley-oop puts them up 10, 67-65. And this JT Toppin bucket puts them up 10 again, 71-61, with just 6 minutes left on the clock. JT Toppin and Darian Williams have been phenomenal for Texas Tech. I think at this point, Darian had like 21 and JT Toppin had like 16 and 10. Walter Clayton Jr. has been getting to the line a ton tonight, but from the field, he only has like 3 made field goals. He hits a very impressive 3 here, I believe his first of the game, to make it a 7-point lead. I don't know how that ball went in, by the way. This Texas Tech team has been a second half team all tournament long, and they only have 6 turnovers in this game. They've been taking care of the ball so well. But Thomas Hauff for Florida was huge in this game. Look at this defense on Darian Williams. Christian Anderson makes both free throws. Texas Tech is up 73-64 with 4 minutes to go. With 3:30 to go, Walter Clayton with this finger roll cuts it back to 7 points. JT Toppin is trying to will his Texas Tech Raiders to a Final Four. Look at this bucket here, extending it back to 9 with just 3:12 to go. Thomas Hauff gets an O board and then hits a 3. It's a 6-point game. Out of character from Darian Williams, an 84% free throw shooter misses the front end of a 1-and-1. Thomas Hauff drains a 3, 75-72 with 2 minutes to go. This young man is having the game of his life. The Gators foul JT Toppin. Coach Golden is playing the foul game here, and as a 70%er, he also misses the front end of a 1-and-1. The score is 79-72 if Texas Tech makes their free throws. So a 4-point swing, and Walter Clayton makes them pay with this 3. I don't know if there's anybody in college basketball with a quicker trigger than Walter Clayton. And with a minute 43 to go in this game, Florida has came all the way back from 9 points down in a little over a minute. Tie ball game. Darian Williams goes right at the rim. Texas Tech up 77-75. And then Walter Clayton hits one of the craziest 3s I've seen in the NCAA tournament in a minute. Florida has the lead for the first time with under a minute to go. I don't know how he does it, but nobody's thinking Walter Clayton Jr. is a threat to shoot when he's dribbling with his back to the basket away from the hoop. So Darian Williams misses a 3 here, and now Texas Tech has to foul. Or do they? So they do end up fouling, but if they would have waited just a couple tenths of a second longer, Florida would have had a 10-second violation here. The officials end up reviewing it, and Darian Williams does commit the foul just before the 10-second violation. An awful break for Texas Tech. And with 22 seconds to go, Elijah Martin makes both free throws, 80-77 Florida. Elijah Hawkins finds Darian Williams, an amazing look from the top of the key. Can he do what he did in the Sweet 16 and send this game to overtime? No, he cannot. Texas Tech misses. They do not get the offensive rebound. Florida has come back down 9 points with 3 minutes to go. And Walter Clayton makes his 2 free throws, sealing this game, giving him 30 points on the night. Florida wins 84-79, outscoring Texas Tech in those final couple minutes, 16-2. And remember, Texas Tech was up 6 with 2:30 to go, and they missed the front end of 2 different 1-and-1s. That was the game right there. And Florida's back to the Final Four for the first time since Billy Donovan's days in 2014, with that team that had Casey Prather, Michael Frazier, Scotty Wilbekin, Patrick Young, DFS. Like I said, Walter Clayton Jr. finishes with 30 points, 13 for 14 from the free throw line. All 3 of his threes coming in that comeback. Thomas Hauff had 20 points, 11 rebounds, including those clutch threes down the stretch as well. But the biggest difference in the game, Florida went 25 for 27 from the free throw line, and Texas Tech went 7 for 13. Darian Williams finishes with 23 points and 5 boards. JT Toppin, 20 points and 11 rebounds. And Chance McMillan off the bench, just 26 minutes, had 14 as well. I really commend him for playing. Like I said, Coach Grant McCausland said in the press conference, they did not expect him to play, but he grueled it out anyway. And I know I went long with this one, but this is by far the best game of the Elite Eight, and I really wanted both teams to win. I love both of these teams. They both have very fun players on it, but it's Florida that moves on. So let's move on to the next game of the night. We have number 1 seed Duke versus 2 seed Alabama. We've stated this before. Alabama just set the collegiate record in the NCAA tournament, 4 threes in a game with 25. Mark Sears had 10 of his own, 1 shy of the individual record. And if they shoot like that tonight, the Duke Blue Devils are going down. Unfortunately, Alabama did not shoot historic from 3, but not only did they not just shoot historic, they shot awful. 8 for 32 on the night, which is 25%. Mark Sears went just 2 for 12 from the field, 1 for 5 from 3 in his final collegiate game. And Duke handles them in this one. If Alabama wanted to win this game, they needed to score 95, 100 points. Instead, they scored just 65. And Duke wins 85-65. Duke's freshmen were phenomenal in this game. Con Knipple had 21 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 steals. Cooper Flagg didn't have to do that much, didn't have the greatest shooting game, but still 16 points, 9 boards. Kaman Malawach, 14 and 9, and then Tyrese Proctor had 17 as well. Guys, this Duke team is the second best team all time in KenPom efficiency rankings. They are that good, and even though they play in a terrible conference, they are the best team in the nation right now. I wish I had more to say about this game. Like I said, Mark Sears and Grant Nelson go out with phenomenal careers. Mark Sears, one of the best guards in Alabama history, if not the best, to be honest. I wish we at least would have gotten an average shooting night from Alabama, but Duke did it to them. They have the 4th best defense in the country, the number 1 rated offense, and they move on to face the winner of Houston, Tennessee. So far, we're 2 for 2 for 1 seeds headed to the Final Four, and these have been by far the best teams in the nation all year long. So let's move on to the Sunday games. First up, we do have Tennessee, the 2 seed, versus Houston, the 1. And Houston just puts Tennessee in an absolute chamber in this first half. Tennessee has the lowest amount of points scored in NCAA tournament history from a 2 seed or higher in that first half. They're down 34-15. They shot just 21% from the field, 1 for 15 from 3. And in the second half, they play Houston even. I think they got it within 10 once with like 5 minutes to go, but it was just too little too late for a Tennessee team that has never made the Final Four. Houston wins 69-50. I'll tell you what, these Kelvin Sampson Houston teams are awesome. They're a Jamal Shed ankle away from a Final Four, I believe, last year. They would have beaten Duke in that game, and they would have beaten NC State. But Kelvin Sampson has a system and a culture, and these guys are playing like crazy for him. The number 1 defense in the country will now face in the Final Four the number 1 offense in the country. Emmanuel Sharp was huge in this game. He had 16 points. LJ Cryer had 17, 7, and 4. But you don't really need much offense when you hold a team like Tennessee to 50 points. They shot just 28% on the night, 17% from 3. And with that, a phenomenal career from Chaz Lanier finishes. He went just 4 for 18 in this game, did have 17 points. However, similar to Mark Sears, phenomenal career that just happened to have an off night on his final game. And then a fan favorite, Zakai Ziegler, Tennessee's point guard, finishes a phenomenal career with Tennessee as well. A guy that they never really expected to do that much as a freshman, but every chance he got better and better every single year. So we have 3 out of our 4 Final Four teams set, all 1 seeds, and Houston versus Duke. They are the top 2 1 seeds in the KenPom rankings. The number 1 defense in Houston versus the number 1 offense in Duke. It's going to be a fun one, but we have one final game here. Let's see if those 1 seeds can go 4 for 4. Auburn versus Michigan State. Actually, I do want to say Jordan Gainey did have a great game for Tennessee. He was the only guy that shot it above average. I think he went, 6 for 12 from the field, had 17 points. He's the only reason they probably did score 50. And without him, Tennessee made 9 total field goals without Jordan Gainey. So my apologies there. Let's get to Auburn and Michigan State. Auburn jumps out of the gate in this game on a 17-0 run to put themselves up 23-8. Janai Broome is a perfect 5 for 5 from the field, but a 7-0 run helps Michigan State right back. Jace Richardson has 9 early points. But it's been a game of runs, a 6-0 run to end the half, and Auburn's up 33-24. And Janai Broome is getting whatever he wants in this game. He has 22 and 12, and Auburn's up 50-40. But then he does this to his elbow. I'm not going to show it because it looked kind of gross. He's heading to the locker room. The broadcast said that he mouthed to his bench that he's done. Michigan State tries to make a push with Janai Broome back in the locker room, but Auburn does a fantastic job of holding them off. This Chad Baker-Mazara 3 puts it back to an 11-point game. And then Willis Reed-esque, Janai Broome returns, the 5th-year senior, the heart and soul of this team, and he hits a 3 on his first touch back in the game. Auburn goes on to win this one 70-64, but the score was a lot closer than it actually seemed towards the end. Janai Broome finishes with 25 points, 14 rebounds on 10 for 13 from the field. Nobody else had more than 10 points in freshman Tahad Pettiford. And then for Michigan State, it was Jackson Kohler that led the way for them with 17 and 11. Jace Richardson shot just 4 for 13 from the field, 11 points. Jaden Akins just 6 for 17 from the field, 15 points, and Trey Holloman off the bench went 0 for 10 from the field. So our Final Four is set. It's all 1 seeds. This is what I predicted in my bracket as well. And it's not a flex. It's just the truth. They've been the best teams by far all season long. Take a look at the KenPom rankings, guys. Look how much more efficient they are than even Tennessee, Alabama. These guys are in a tier of their own, and they have been all year long. It gives us just the 2nd tournament ever to have all 4 1 seeds in the Final Four. Last time we had that was 2008. And I know it's not that fun, but I'm telling you guys, these are the best teams in the nation. This Final Four is going to be crazy this year. And you know what's even crazier than that, guys? I'm crediting the Field of 68 with this because they put the tweet out and they put out the graphic. All 4 of these teams in the Final Four, all 4 of these 1 seeds, are top 10 teams in KenPom history. Duke is 2nd behind the 1999 Duke team, with I believe had Elton Brand, Trajan Langdon, Corey Maggette, and Shane Battier on it. And then Houston is 6th all time behind that 2021 Gonzaga team with Jalen Suggs, Drew Timme, Corey Kispert. Florida is 8th overall, right behind last year's UConn team. And then Auburn's 10th. Behind 2008 Kansas, that won that title that year. So this is going to be the greatest Final Four of all time. That's pretty obvious, right? And so that's my next video on how amazing this Final Four is going to be. You heard it here first. And thank you guys so much for these recaps. They've been a blast. Let me know what type of content, if you're still watching, I want to know what type of content you want. Do you like some of these evergreen history videos that I made? Like how NBA stars really did in March Madness? I got to figure out a way to continue doing this full time. I don't want to have to do a tons of newsy NBA videos coming out of March Madness. So you let me know what you like to see in the comments. Thank you so much for the support and watching. And as always, we'll see you on the hardwood.